That plate, like every plate at his banquet, has cost 1,000 gold coins. Outside, the thunder of war shakes the walls of Nineveh. Battering rams pound, soldiers shout, fire climbs into the sky. The empire collapses, and inside the king keeps eating. This man is Sardanapalus, the last king of Assyria. Remembered not as a conqueror, but as a symbol of ruin, a ruler who chose luxury and pleasure while his world burned. For centuries, Assyria had been a colossus. Its armies were hammers of iron that crushed Mesopotamia, Syria, Palestine, and Egypt. Where they marched, cities fell, temples were looted, whole peoples were deported. Assyrian kings wanted not only to win, but to erase resistance. They carved their power into stone, chained prisoners, tortured captives, burning cities. It was an empire built on fear. Nineveh, the capital, was its beating heart. Its walls stretched for more than 20 kilometers, so wide that 2 chariots could race upon them. Inside stood temples like mountains of stone, gardens crossed by artificial canals, and a library that held tens of thousands of clay tablets preserving the knowledge of centuries. To the world, Nineveh looked eternal. But eternity does not exist, and on its throne now sat a different king. Greek chroniclers describe him as a man given over to pleasure. Sardanapalus painted his eyes, wore women's clothes, surrounded himself with eunuchs and concubines. He spent his days intoxicated by perfumes and music. His banquets were endless, tables overflowing with roasted meats, fish spiced with herbs, fresh bread, dates and wines sweetened with honey. Every dish was served on new vessels, gleaming and costly. None was reused. Each one cost what could have fed an army for months. The palace was a theater of excess. Purple carpets lined the floors. Oil lamps cast golden light across ivory and bronze walls. The air was heavy with incense and myrrh brought from Arabia. Wine ran like a dark river. Harps echoed night and day. Dancers spun beneath flickering light. Outside, the people starved under siege. Inside, abundance drowned the truth. The enemies had watched carefully. Babylonians and Medes, long broken under Assyrian rule, saw their chance. They forged an unlikely alliance, iron discipline and hunger against gold and decay. The siege of Nineveh was merciless. Catapults hurled stones like lightning made of rock and flame. Battering rams hammered like drums of death. Arrows rained upon the defenders. Each night the horizon glowed red with fire. Hunger spread through the city, water grew scarce, streets filled with corpses. Inside the palace the music played on. Sardanapalus ordered that the banquets never cease. Let the cooks prepare more delicacies. Let the musicians play louder. Let the dancers whirl until they collapsed. As if music could silence the roar of war. As if gold could purchase time. Each plate cost 1,000 coins, and each new feast drew him closer to the end. When defeat was certain, the king made his final choice. He would not be dragged in chains, paraded like the enemies Assyria had once humiliated. He commanded that all his treasures be gathered, coffers of gold, statues, silks, perfumes. He called his concubines, his eunuchs, his most loyal servants, and he ordered a colossal pyre to be built in the heart of the palace. That night, the final banquet was held. The costliest plates gleamed in the firelight. The cooks served meat seasoned with rare spices, steaming bread, foaming wine. Concubines danced one last time. Musicians played until their fingers bled. The king drank, smiled, and threw himself into the flames with all his treasures. The palace roared like a volcano. Roofs collapsed, walls split, rivers of molten gold flowed across the stone. The banquet turned to ash. The luxury became smoke. The last king of Assyria vanished in fire and perfume. With him did not die only a man, but an empire. Assyria, terror of the ancient world, dissolved in days. Nineveh was destroyed, its walls ground to dust, its temples toppled. The colossus of iron and blood was gone forever. Poets and artists remembered Sardanapalus as the king of excess, a warning written in fire. A man who paid 1,000 coins for a new plate while his empire crumbled around him. A monarch who confused pleasure with power, luxury with glory, and who ended by burning in the flames he had kindled. If this story shook you, share this video and subscribe to discover more secrets that history still hides in silence.